welcome back to Manila.
Hey everyone, I'm super excited today because I'm going out on a guided tour with Get Your Guide, and we're going to Intramuros, which is the old Spanish walled city. And we're not doing this historic tour on foot, we're doing it on bamboo bikes. So my starting point for today is in Casa Manila, Manila home. Also known as the Louis complex, but you can see it's really beautiful.
Our bamboo bikes are made by hands by our bamboo bikes builders from Gawad Kalinga, a Philippine-based community development organization from Tarlac City, specifically in Victoria, in the northern part of the Philippines. Bambike Ecotour's mission is to create sustainable green products while generating jobs for the community. So actually everyone, while you are doing the tour now, you're helping some of the communities here in the Philippines. So on behalf of our company, thank you so much for choosing Bambike as you enjoy your stay here, and welcome to Intramuros, a historic district in the city of Manila. Alright, let me show you something here. Take a look at this photo, everyone. This is the old map, or the 1734 map of Intramuros. This one right here. But it doesn't mean that this place or the walled city was built in the same year, because back then, this is a Muslim settlement. So, yeah. And then, in 1570, the Spaniards arrived here in the Philippines because they thought the Philippines is really rich, especially in spices. Several months of warfare between the Muslim natives and the Spaniards won to that war. And then they decided to stay here. And they built some houses and structure for them to have a place to stay. Alright? So after 3 years of that, in 1574, a Chinese pirate named Limahong attacked the city because he wanted to take the place and build it by himself, but he did not succeed on his plan because eventually he was defeated by the Spaniards. But Limahong doesn't want to take his defeat that easily. So what Limahong did, he actually burned all the structure that was built by the Spaniards before. And the Spaniards, they thought that they need to build a defense. That's why they come up to build the walls around the city. And they call this place Intramuros, because Intramuros, it was derived from two Latin words. Intra meaning inside, and muros means walls. So city inside the walls, or the walled city. And then inside the walls, they also built a moat. Are you familiar with moat? It's like a water around the castle to protect it. As you can see here, this is the inner moat. And this one right here is the outer moat. It's like a defense to them. You will no longer see the moat right now, alright? Because in 1898, the Americans came here and the Spaniards sold the Philippines to the Americans for $20 million US. That's why the Americans paid Spain for $20 million US for the compensation of selling the Philippines and other territories. And that's the end of the 333 years of the Spanish colonial time and the start of new colonial era, which is by the Americans. After that one, the Americans decided to stay here until in 1901, after 3 years of the Americans came here, the moat was inhabited by the mosquitoes that causing public health issues like malaria and also cholera. That's why they need to get rid of the moat, and then they've turned it into a, what do you think? Golf course? Yes, a golf course. That is the moat before. Have you seen it since you've played it? I mean, yeah. Did you see the golf course yet?
No.
In our second stop, you'll get to see the golf course, alright? And after that one, the Americans decided to stay here until in December 18, 1941, the Japanese arrived here and bombed one of the cities here in the Philippines, which is located in Clark, Pampanga, where the first Filipino airport established. And that's the start of the involvement of the Philippines during the Second World War. We are now here in our first stop, which is Casa Manila, alright? So everyone, welcome to Casa Manila. Casa Manila, it was derived from a Spanish word which means house. And also we called it this one a stone house or a bahay na bato. A bahay na bato is a Filipino word which means stone house because as you can see here, in the lower ground part of this area, it was made of stones to prevent some calamities like typhoons, especially earthquakes, because the Philippines located near at the Pacific Ring of Fire. That's why we are really prone to the calamities like that. At the upper part of this area, as you can see, it was made of lightweight materials like wood for their ventilation. And if you will look into it, the size of the windows here are not the normal size of the windows here in the Philippines, because usually we have a small one, but this one is bigger than the normal size for the air can go in and out. Casa Manila is now a cultural, commercial complex. Cultural because there is a museum inside this Casa Manila. That way is the entrance going to the museum, and then when you go up there to the museum, you'll get to see a lot of antique things or old things that was used by the Spaniards during the Spanish colonial time. And also they built this one because they wanted to showcase to the people right now, especially to the Filipino people, on how was the lifestyle of a wealthy man or an elite people during the Spanish colonial time. Commercial complex because there's a lot of business inside this Casa Manila. There's a coffee shop over there. Another coffee shop here. Another coffee shop over there. And then there's another coffee shop here. When you go enter in this place, there's a lot of coffee shop and then a restaurant. And of course our shop, which is the Bombay Capital. So commercial complex because of the businesses here inside of Casa Manila. Actually, this Casa Manila, it was a replica house owned by a Chinese wealthy man that lives in Habaneros during the Spanish colonial time. And this one was built around 1981 and was open to public in 1983.
Wait, this was built in 1981?
Yep.
Oh.
And it was open to public in 1983. Sometimes you'll get to see on the floor, there is like 1981 on the floor or 1983, which means that floor or those stones are built during that time. Meaning this one is the moat before. During the Spanish colonial time, there are it has allegedly rumors that says that the Spaniards actually put a lot of crocodiles here inside the moat for their extra defense, because they are really afraid for the future invaders. Alright? After that one, when the Americans came here, they decided to build to fill it up with the soil, so it turned out that it was it's a golf course. Alright? So by the way, this is an 18-hole public golf course and it was run by our government. So this is the cheapest golf course here in the Philippines. Alright? After that one, the Americans, after they built this golf course, actually in December 8, they continued their stay here until in December 8. In 1941, they bombed one of, when the Japanese arrives here, and they bombed one of the city here in the Philippines, which is located in Clark, Pampanga, where the first Filipino airport established. Actually, before they attacked the Philippines, they attacked first the Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. So, before they attacked the Philippines, they attacked first the Pearl Harbor. After 10 hours, they go here to the Philippines and bomb the city. That attack is a surprise attack. So, the Americans was not ready during that time. They don't have enough resources like guns, gunpowders, and other things that they might get used during a war. So, what the Americans did, they actually go back to their country for them to survive. It was led by General Douglas MacArthur. Are you familiar with him? General Douglas MacArthur. General Douglas MacArthur is the leader of the liberation forces here in the Philippines during the American colonial time. So he go back to his country with his troops and also with his iconic line, which is, "I shall return." Alright, several years of planning, General Douglas MacArthur fulfilled this promise. So we go back here to the Philippines with his troops, and here's another iconic line, which is, "I have returned." So before the Second World War happened, the Americans asked first the Japanese if they wanted to surrender the Philippines to them in a peaceful way, but the Japanese refused that one. So that's the start of the Second World War. 80% of the city was destroyed and estimated 100,000 of civilians was dead, including women and also children. So everyone, take a look at this photo. This one right here is the photo of the outside of this place back then. As you can see here, there is a USA flag. Alright, this one is the original structure that was built by the Spaniards before. Right now, the walls here, some part of it was the original, some part of it was reconstructed it again. Alright? When you go on the outside, when you take a look at on the walls, you'll get to see a bullet holes. So it was happened during the Second World War. Alright, and by the way, outside of this place, the name of the street is Muralla, which means walls in Spaniards. Muralla is Spanish word which means walls in English. So they came up with the name because it's beside the walls. Alright? And also I have a photo here of the city after the war. This one right here. As you can see here, there is one remaining structure who didn't destroy during the Second World War. And this is the San Agustin Church. The church that we passed by on earlier when we go here in this place. Right? Okay, if not, actually, after the war, there's still one remaining Japanese here in the city. Specifically on this place. And that Japanese is this cannon right here. So everyone, this is the actual cannon used by the Japanese during the Second World War. And by the way, this is a ship cannon and the Japanese is very clever to hide this one. The Governor General back then is the highest ranking position here in the Philippines during the Spanish colonial time. So it's an official like a president. Alright, actually this place, they call this place Puerta Real because it was derived from a Spanish word which means puerta is a gate and real is a royal. So it is a royal gate for the Governor General. Alright, so during that time, actually in 1700s, they built this gate. And this gate was first destroyed in 1762 because of the unexpected visitor. So do you have any guess? Who was it? It's another country who visited the Philippines besides Spain, America, Japan, and China. It was the British.
Ah, of course.
The British are here because of the 7 Years' War with the French. They found out that the French and the Spaniards are allies during that time. So what they did, they go here to the Philippines because we are under by the Spanish colonial time during that time. But the plan of the British is to kidnap the Governor General, which is Simon de Anda. But Simon de Anda successfully escaped from the British kidnapping. That's why the British are here for 20 months occupation only. It's a short period of time so that we don't have any influences by the British. After that one, they signed the Treaty of Paris to end the 7 Years' War and the other respective allies, alright? And they gave back the city to the Spaniards, and the Spaniards continued, they've stayed here until it was 333 years. After that one, the Americans came here and they made a lot of changes in the city. Another example of that is this triangular ravelin. That triangular ravelin, they've turned it into a aquarium back then.
Oh, wow.
Behind those triangular ravelins is the Bagong Bayan or the Rizal Park right now, where our considered national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, was executed. And right now, actually after the war, the government trying to, they rebuilt again the aquarium. But since the aquarium has a lot of maintenance, they have to get rid of it because they cannot maintain it anymore. Okay? So, but you don't have to worry because actually we have a ocean park. So it's like a big aquarium as well near here in Intramuros. So it was located to Luneta Park. I have a photo here. This one right here is the photo of Puerta Real back then.
Wow.
This one. And another photo here.
So you said it had been destroyed once?
Yep.
The gate had been destroyed?
Actually, the original gate was put it here on this side.
Oh.
And then they have to put it here after it got destroyed. Alright? So, this one is the aerial view of this Puerta Real. It's like a drone shot, but since we don't have a drone shot yet, it's an aerial view. As you can see here, this one is the structure that had been destroyed during the Second World War. And since the Puerta Real was on the outside of the walled city, it's really far to the other structure. And last one, I have here the photo of the entrance going to the aquarium back then.
take a moment to talk to you about the travel booking platform, Get Your Guide. If you're planning a trip and looking for some unique experiences, or maybe you just need some skip the line tickets to some of those famous attractions, Get Your Guide is definitely the way to go. They operate in over 150 countries, providing a diverse range of experiences from popular attractions to off-the-beaten-path experiences in thousands of destinations. In Singapore, we bought skip the line tickets, saving us up to 40% on combination tickets for Gardens by the Bay, and then in Thailand, we had the best stress-free day trip to the weekend floating market and train market, all led by an expert certified local guide, giving us a true, authentic experience, and they even picked us up right next to our hotel. So for all of your skip the line tickets, specialized tours, walking tours, food and beverage tours, cooking and craft classes, bucket list experiences, and niche offerings, you're gonna wanna check out Get Your Guide. And by using the link I'm providing in the description, it does go towards supporting my channel and allowing me to produce future content. So we thank you so much for all of the support. It can also be found on my website at hollycaputoproductions.com under resources. Now, back to the video.
And actually, this gate right here is one of the oldest gates inside the walled city. And back then, during the Spanish colonial time, the Spaniards used this gate as an alternative gate when the British came here because it was destroyed. The Puerto Real was destroyed during the 1762. Alright, when the British came here. That's why they used this place as an alternative gate for the Governor General. And also, during the Spanish colonial time, there are two Chinese settlements in this area. The first Chinese settlement was on the outside of this area, which we call the Arroceros. Arroceros is a Spanish word which means rice farmers. Back then, you will see there all the Chinese people who are not converted into Catholicism. Because back then, if you want to convert into Catholicism, you have to pay for taxes. So most of the Spaniards, or some of the Spaniards actually doesn't want to convert into Catholicism because they have to pay a money to the Spaniards. The second Chinese settlement was on this area, outside of this area, which we call the Binondo. You will see there back then all the Chinese people who are converted into Catholicism and who are protected by the Spaniards. Until now, you will see there the oldest Chinatown in the world. There are two rumors why they call this place Puerto del Parian. It's like a rumor. It's a gossip. Alright. First one is because Parian is a Filipino word which means over there. Alright? Because back then, there are some natives that stays here, and when the Spaniards came here, they asked the natives, where are the Chinese people? Where are the Chinese people? The natives answered them by saying, Parian, 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 which means over there. So the Spaniards thought that the name of the place is Parian, and they've turned it into a Puerta del Parian because it's a gate. Second is because this Parian is a Mexican word, also a Mexican word which means a marketplace. Because back then, this place was used going to the marketplace. Alright? As you can see, there is another Revelin here. And that Revelin, you'll get to see there a cannon. But it's not from Japanese, it's from the Spaniards. Because the Spaniards actually put a cannon there because one wrong move of those Chinese people who doesn't want to convert into Catholicism, they will gonna shoot them. And as you can see, there is a gold clock tower over there, and that is the Manila City Hall right now. These are the bust of the ASEAN leaders. ASEAN is the Association of the Southeast Asian Nation. Some of the Southeast Asian countries connected or combined to each other for their economic growth purposes. Alright? This right there, the part of the aisle, back then, that is part of the moat before. But since it will cause a disease, they have to fill it up with the soil. So I have a photo here of Puerta del Parian. And that is the area. As you can see here, there is a moat. Because like what I've said, that is part of the moat before. why the Philippines named Philippines. But before that,
Right.
the Spaniards,
I knew
the
that.
first name that was given to the Philippines by the Spaniards is Las Islas Filipinas, meaning the islands of the Philippines. But they thought it's very long to pronounce. That's why they've changed it into a Philippines. So King Philip is the reason why the Philippines name Philippines, because of Philip, Philippines. Felipe is
Yeah.
Spaniard, so Filipinas.
Right.
Alright, and also, we are called here in the Philippines, the people here in the Philippines called here Filipinos. And they said the meaning of it is the son of King Philip, which is Filipino. Niño is like a son in Spanish, right?
Alright.
And then Philip, Filipino. Alright, the son of King Philip. Alright?
Yeah.
There is also a bonus to that. Have you ever wondered where is the Manila name came from? You know where the Manila name came from? Actually, Manila is a Filipino two words. Alright? First is my, meaning there is. And nila is a plant that can turn into a indigo dye. Because actually, Manila producing a plant that can turn into an indigo dye, which we call nila or nilad. That's why they call this place my nilad, which is there is a plant or nilad. Alright? On that area, the BPI back then, it is a church, the Santo Domingo
Oh, wow.
Church. But during the World War II, the Second World War, it was destroyed. Alright? This one right here, it was reconstructed it again, but it was the customs house back then. And it was connected to the Pasig River so that it has a easy access for the tradings back then. Right now, they will reconstruct it again. It will be a National Archives of the Philippines.
Nice.
When the Americans came here, it was renamed to Plaza McKinley to honor their president during that time, President McKinley. When the Japanese occupation happened, it was renamed to Plaza Malaki. Malaki is a Filipino word which means big. So the Japanese wanted the Filipino people to use their own language. That's why they've turned it into a Plaza Malaki. Alright? After that one, they've changed it into Plaza Roma to honor the College of Cardinals in Rome, where our first Filipino Archbishop studied. Alright? So on this side, as you can see, there is a white structure here. This white structure is the Ayuntamiento or the Manila City Hall back then. But right now, that is the Bureau of Treasury. Spain and Philippines, those are the countries who donated to the church to rebuild it again. Alright? And also this church is famous wedding church here in the Philippines. If you want to get married by this church, you have to pay for 42,000 pesos or $750 US just to get married by this church with air conditioning. Without aircon, you have to pay for 32,000 pesos or $650 US. And also, if you want to get married by this church, you have to wait for 2 years. It's a wait list, and those 2 years is really advantage to all of us Filipinos here because we don't have a divorce. Divorce here in the Philippines is illegal.
So there's no clock tower on that one.
7%. And this one, another photo of the 7th church.
And this is the 8th?
This one is the 8th.
Yeah.
have his execution in public, which is located in the Bagong Bayan, or the Bagong Bayan back then, or the Rizal Park right now. This is the actual photograph of the execution of Rizal. This one right here is the guy, which is Rizal, and there is 8 Filipino soldiers that will gonna shoot him. Because those 8 Filipino soldiers doesn't have a choice, because if they will not shoot Rizal, the Spaniards will shoot them first before they will shoot Rizal. So the 8 Filipino soldiers, there is only one bullet on the guns that they are holding. It become anonymous who's gonna shoot him or kill him. Alright? During his execution, Rizal had 2 wishes. The first wish of him is don't shoot him on the head. And then the Spaniards allowed that one. The second wish of him is don't shoot him on the back of his body. And the Spaniards doesn't allow that one. Because for them, if you are a traitor, you have to fire or you have to kill with your back of your body. Alright? To prove that you are a traitor. But when the gun or the trigger of the gun was pulled, Rizal was facing, or he's trying to face the people, especially the Filipino people, to showcase that he is not a traitor. In 7:03 in the morning, in December 8, 1896, Rizal was declared dead. Alright? So, this one right here, as you can see, there's a lot of coins here. It's like, for the people that come here, they used to be, this one like a wishing well. So, they believe that if you're gonna throw a coin here after you're making a wish, your wish will gonna come true someday. And also, when you take a look on that piece of coin or one Filipino coin, you'll get to see the head of Rizal. Because he wrote 2 novels that was contained on how the Spaniards treat the Filipino people in a very bad way.
Okay.
So the Spaniards are afraid that if the Filipino people will read those books, actually, they will open their minds on what's happening on that government. But actually, those book was written to using the Spanish language. So back then, the Spaniards doesn't want the Filipino people to learn on how to speak, write, and also read using their own language. So how come that the Spaniards will, or the Filipino rather, will understand this book if that wrote using the Spaniards language? So they prove Rizal guilty because they are only higher ups. That's why. Actually, there is a mock trial, and during the mock trial, even though it's a mock trial, there is a result, which is guilty. So even if he will go to under an actual trial, the result will be guilty as well. Okay, so this dungeon right here was built by the Spaniards as a place to store their things, like guns and also gunpowders. But this one, it was connected to the Pasig River. So if the Pasig River was on the high tide, the water will flow inside and all those things will get destroyed. Alright? And that's why the Spaniards built another place that they can put those things, which is this Baluarte de Santa Barbara. And when the Japanese occupation happened, this one was used as a prison camp or prison cell. And also, actually, the Japanese used 40 to 50, the Japanese put 40 to 50 people inside this dungeon, alright, without food and also water. So those people actually died because of suffocation and starvation. After that one, actually the government found out 600 Filipino and American bodies here in the whole Fort Santiago only. Alright, that's why we have a white cross or a mass grave here. This white cross or a mass grave is like a symbolizes for those 600 people that died during the Second World War, is to commemorate them. Okay? The entrance part is the narrow part only. Inside, you can accommodate everyone. And also, trigger warning, you'll get to see a lot of unfiltered photos during and after the war. And you're gonna enter a hallowed ground, so please conduct yourself with a sign of respect. This is a two-way, so you have to enter here, and then you will go there on the exit. There's an exit over there, and you'll get to see the Pasig River. The Pasig River is actually the main reason why the Spaniards choose this place, because they have like an easy access for their tradings back then. You'll get to see there as well the White Bridge, and that is the Binondo, or the oldest Chinatown in the world.
So I know I haven't been much in this video, but I've had the GoPro strapped to my chest like the entire time because I've also been filming on my phone for Instagram, so you can check my Instagram as well. But this has been an amazing tour. So much fun. Bamboo bikes, you know, if you haven't ridden a bike for a minute, yeah, they take a second to get used to, but this has been an outstanding experience. If you're coming to Manila, I will leave the link in the description of this video. You definitely want to come on this tour because there's so much history here, from the Spanish to the Japanese to the American and Filipino people. So a lot to learn. It's very, very interesting, and yeah, and it's very fun as well. So shout out to Get Your Guide and Get Your Guide community for allowing me to be a part of this, and yeah, this has been a blast.
So this San Agustin Church, that's the church that I was talking about earlier, the one that actually didn't destroy during the Second World War. This one is the remaining structure during the Second World War, and actually they used to be as this church as an hospital. That's why they didn't bomb it in a purpose, alright? This one is the oldest Baroque church here in the Philippines and was awarded by the UNESCO World Heritage. When you go inside the church, actually, you'll get to see a mass grave on the floor. And also, in this church, there is like allegedly rumors that Miguel Lopez de Legazpi tombstone is inside the church as well. And if you're one of the richest family in the Spaniards back then, you have to burn here in the floor of the church or inside the church as well. There are two bell towers here, but actually the other bell tower was destroyed during an earthquake because this is the fourth structure of the San Agustin Church because of an earthquake. As you can see here, there are some lions here, the structure of lions. Those are the guards of the church. It was given by the Chinese people here. And there is like a connected museum here in church. And also, there is a newly opened cafe as well, which is on that area. Alright? So I have a photo here of the church. This one right here is the church back then, the San Agustin Church. This is also famous for wedding, and you have to pay for 32,000 pesos if you want to get married by this church. And there is also a 2 years as an advantage for you before to get married.
So they just actually sanitized our hands and gave us a nice cool cloth, which is nice because it is pretty warm out here. Nice. So now we also get complimentary ice cream. I'm very excited about this part.
I just go and cop that. Anything that I rock, they be asking me, where'd you get that? Passing vibe checks, cause I'm a vibe.
Thank you. I got coconut. So a nice treat after the ride. So make sure to sign up for this if you are in Manila. Otherwise, again, special thanks to Get Your Guide and Get Your Guide community. Otherwise, see you next time.
Make sure you're subscribed because next I'm island hopping in the Philippines to Siargao. See you next time.